terrified when
Yeah.
you're recording an interview?
Oh yeah. No. I am doing a sound check. Can you hear it?
So, what have you been up to this summer?
I finished up my track season. We got to go to state for the 4x8, which that was really exciting. And then that next week, I went to Ottawa, Illinois for a family vacation. That was really nice because typically between the transition of like track to cross country, I don't really have that much time, but that whole week I just spent totally relaxing and there was like no stress because there was no school, I wasn't working, all that stuff. So it was really relaxing. And then just last week started up cross country again, and then I'm on the grind, you know.
So you've been up to a lot,
Yeah, kind of busy.
and then you're heading into your senior year next year?
I am, yes.
You excited?
I am excited because I have a lot of year older friends, you know, so seeing what they've gone through, I'm excited to experience that myself.
Do you have like any plans after high school?
As of right now, I don't have anything specific. I know I want to go to college, but I don't have any clue where or what I want to do. So I'm just kind of using this year to figure that out as well. So
And then do you have any like big plans or goals for your senior year?
I would definitely say to perform well in cross country. That's definitely a big thing as well as track. I want to just include myself in a lot of things. Like I really like being around people, so I think that and like joining more clubs and other like extracurricular stuff could be really really good for me.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, like regarding you or anything about that?
You mean just like school or just in
Just
general?
anything really that you want like people to know about you?
I guess I don't really know. I don't have anything at the moment.
All right. So how'd you meet him?
Well, I knew through middle school because he went to BF, but I never really had any like connection to him. I obviously talked to him a couple times, but he and I never were like buddies or anything. So I've known him since then, but I got a lot closer to him in high school, my freshman year, just through cross country, obviously, and as well as that, Jack Thursby, he would drive and I to practice since we didn't have our license, so we'd always hang out there, and then that's how we got a little bit closer.
So you've known of him for about like 6 or 5 years, and then like been his friend probably 4 or 3.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say so. I think just as time went on, I'd gotten closer to him. So
Do you have any good stories of Thursby carpooling you guys?
I do actually. So definitely one that stands out is a couple of times we would, because most of the time the way that it worked was since I lived near Thursby, he would pick me up first. But every time after practice, like argue with me trying to get the front seat, and like I'm just like, dude, come on, we all want the front seat. You know, we just like arguing stuff, and it's just fun, kind of messing around. And then like he would totally like dog on my aux because I would cue up a few songs and stuff. But it was always a good time just being able to chat and enjoy the music while we drive around.
How close would you consider yourself to him?
I think that I wouldn't say I was super close to him. I would just say that there was something there. I know that there are a lot of other people that were much closer to him than I was, but I feel like the connection that I had was definitely something that a lot of other people didn't, you know, just with a lot of the things that were going on.
Would you say like your guys' connection was consistent throughout? Like, was there ever a time where you felt very close to him, or was there ever a time you didn't feel that close to him?
I think that like I said, it was just kind of as like time continued, I slowly got closer to him. Like freshman year, for example, was like the time when I just started to get to know him, you know. And then sophomore year, obviously, was when we would carpool the most. So then I would get to know him a lot closer then. And then on top of that, we had a couple fight nights, and I would fight him, and then he and I would just always talk about that. Just, you know, how he got a good right hook on me, and how I just totally fell over.
Do you have a favorite memory with him?
I think that one of my favorites was we had a practice at sunset one morning, and AC wasn't there, or maybe this wasn't sunset. It was a reoccurring thing, but this was when the whole team was in our like Pokemon Go phase, and he was just so annoyed at us. It was just the funniest thing, because he was like, guys, let's just practice, let's just do the thing we're supposed to do, and then everybody's like, no, wait, there's a Pikachu over here, you know, something like that. And it was just so annoying, or it was just so funny how like annoyed he got from it. Like, I don't know, it's just all of his like sound effects too. He would just be like, wah, you know.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Did he teach you anything important or significant that you feel like you have with you today?
I think that he kind of just, I don't know, I'd say there were just a couple little things that stuck around, but I don't really think that anything like super life-changing had really happened, because I feel like with the people that I grow to know, I always take something from them, you know, just like being information that they might want to share, something that they want like to continue on, and I think that kind of he was different. He was very, very different from other people that I met before, and I think that seeing the way that he approached certain situations, and like the people that he talked to and the people that he knew who to trust, I think that is what really is something that I learned from him, because it's different. It's something that I hadn't seen before in somebody.
And then what stood out to you the most about him?
I think just his commitment. Like he was really committed to do a lot of things, and like from like, you know, cross country to his fighting and stuff. Like that was a big thing that I noticed, is that like once he like set his mind on something, he just went for it, and he always stayed committed to it. I think that was really, really cool.
When was the last time you saw him?
Last time I saw him, I think it was during a summer practice, because that whole summer season I had spent working to get better, and then I'd gotten into quarantine, and that's when I didn't get the chance to see him again. I don't recall exactly what it was though, when that was exactly.
Do you remember how he was like the last few times you had seen him?
I think that he kind of seemed just the same as how I'd seen him before. You know, he always kind of had this like introverted aspect to him in a way. But I guess, I don't know, I think that during that summer like of practicing, it just seemed a little bit different, because he had moved on to other stuff, and I don't know, it just seems kind of odd how he would just drop like cross country like that, but yeah.
So other than like him moving on from cross country, nothing really seemed like out of the ordinary?
I guess I just, you know, that at that point I hadn't seen him much since then, but you know, I guess one thing that did actually kind of stand out was, you know, I would talk to him and stuff, and obviously we'd gotten a lot closer through the carpooling and stuff, And whenever I'd see him after that, you know, like whether it was like a cross country meetup for one practice or whatever, or I think just hanging out, like I would see him and I would, you know, I'd be like, oh, we should fight again, and I think I'd win, and you know, he just kind of like let it go, like he'd just be like, yeah, I'm sure you would, you know, it kind of seemed a little bit off than him trying to like almost like defend himself, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that definitely was something that was a little bit strange, but I didn't really think much of it just because, you know, I hadn't seen him that much. So
When did you find out about his passing?
So I'd been quarantined that week, right, the week before school had started, and you know, I wanted to focus on like sleep, so I slept in that day, and I woke up to just the group chat, our Real Grinders group chat, just being like blown up. I was like, what is happening? I see like a ton of Snapchat stories. I'm seeing like text messages and stuff. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was still half asleep. Like I was like, is this like a joke? So I like typed in the group chat. I remember I said, should I post something? Like what's going on? And then like, I think it was Riley that said, you should know or something. I'm like, what is happening? So I was really confused. I was scrolling through the text messages, and I was just like, nothing was being answered. Like none of my questions were being answered. I was like, what is happening? And then I think it was Patrick that texted me, and he basically just told me that had taken his life, and I was just like, I was so shocked because I did not expect that. Of all things, that was the last thing on my mind. I didn't know what to do because, like I said, I was quarantined and I was stuck in my room. But I just remember I was pacing back and forth in my room. I was like, what is this? Is this real? Like, am I dreaming? Like, what is happening right now? I was so like, just like confused. I didn't understand what to think of the situation.
So, you said Patrick had like broken the news, but would you say like you didn't really have anybody tell you? You kind of just had to like figure it out on your own?
Yeah, that's how it was at first, and like I had just from like the stories and stuff that people were posting, I kind of assumed something was going on, but like I still didn't fully get it. But I would say I did kind of have to do some like digging to actually find out if this was like a real thing, and you know, I couldn't just go out and talk to somebody about it because again I was by myself. I was quarantined, so.
Yeah, because I feel like most people, it was like the night of or like early morning,
Mm-hmm.
the day after, we're kind of just like hit with like a phone call from like someone, and
Yeah.
like, the news came like out of the blue. But
Yeah.
like yours is interesting to me because like you kind of like woke up with it, and then
In the
like,
middle of it.
before you got like the confirmation, you had to like kind of piece it together.
Exactly. Yeah. I almost had to just like figure it out myself, even like, and with that super strange like situation happening, I was like, I almost didn't like believe it. I was like, is this a joke? You know, I was like, didn't seem legit at first.
Yeah. Looking back, did you see any warning signs or anything like that?
I wouldn't say so. I would just say that the lack of communication that we had, you know, I like I said, I wouldn't say that we were super close, but we did talk a bit, and I did text him a bit and stuff, but it just seemed a little bit more distant than normal, just because of that. But I was busy with a lot of other things going on, so it didn't come to mind that anything was going on.
And then these like next questions, like they're personal, so you can answer them
Okay.
like as vague or as in depth as you want.
Okay.
Have you ever struggled with your mental health?
I would definitely say so, and I think that the situation was definitely an impact on that, because the whole quarantine situation is already enough to kind of knock you down, and as well as that, it took away a lot of my skills as a runner. It really impacted my lungs, which I didn't notice at first, but it definitely was known as I continued through the season. And also starting school and stuff is very stressful, and like all these different emotions were things that I hadn't really experienced that much. So I think that the fall was definitely an area of my life where it was like very, very low. There were a lot of other things that were going on, but those were definitely things that really stood out when I think of that time specifically.
Have you ever received treatment for your mental health?
No, I haven't, because I haven't really felt that it has gotten to the point where I need treatment, because I know that I can talk to people, and I know that there's always people that are there to help me, but I feel like at some points it's not bad enough to where I am like freaking out about something. But I would definitely say like in the fall should have been a time where I like reached out to somebody, because I kind of kept a lot of those feelings bottled in, because of the fact that I was, very alone. But I think that as I've been able to kind of open up about the situation itself and what I'd gone through, it's definitely helped. Even now, just talking about it has really been helping a lot with how I feel about the whole situation itself.
Do you think after his passing, was there any impact on like how acceptable it was to discuss mental health?
Wait, repeat that.
Do you think after his passing, like, was there any impact on like discussing mental health? Like, do you think people felt more open or anything like that?
I think that before his passing, it wasn't really a very serious topic, like people wouldn't really take it very seriously. But I think that after that, it really showed to the people that he was closer to that mental health is a very important thing. And I also took a speech class, and I had talked about how mental health could really affect a lot of things in your life. So I know that from my point of view, I've learned a lot from that, and I know that I feel like discussing it is very important, and being able to express how you feel is a very important thing. But I'd say it's very different for everybody.
You brought up earlier like him and you carpooling with Thirst being like, he would kind of like dig on your music.
Yeah.
Did you guys like ever bond over music at all?
Let me actually look at my playlist, because I have the playlist from that summer. And that was like right when I was kind of starting to get into music. So it was really strange. Because I remember him definitely wanting to cue a couple songs, but
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly if there were any that I remember that he mentioned. Yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah, but a lot of this music is kind of a throwback, Like I have some Legends Never Die, like Juice WRLD in there, and I know that when I listen to that, I think of that that summer there. But yeah, I think, just to answer your question though, I think that kind of having that almost what's the word? Arguments, I guess, or like
Discourse?
Yeah, discourse, that's it. Having that discourse, but like around music was just kind of another thing that kind of brought us closer, just with helping me learn how to listen to music. I know it's different for everybody, but I think that definitely helped me with getting into it, I guess, you know.
Do you have a song that makes you think of him?
I know that uh, it's not necessarily that thinks of him, but I listened to Trippie Redd a lot, and the whole fall I had a Love Letter to You 3 on repeat. And whenever I listen to that album, I always think of just that time itself and like the feelings that I'd gone through. So I think that I wouldn't say that it necessarily made me think of him, but I definitely have a lot of songs that kind of remind me of the memories of like the times that I had with him there.
What do you think music had meant to him?
I don't really know. I actually don't really know that one.
And then did you guys ever bond over like, because you brought up fight nights, did you guys ever bond over like fighting or like MMA?
I think that, yeah, because I know that going into, because I think that was my first fight night that I actually fought him. Going into that, I was really nervous because I didn't really want to fight him because I knew that he had a lot more experience than I did, and I didn't really know what I was doing. But everybody was like, "You're taller, you have longer arms, and stuff. You're kind of already pretty strong." I'm like, okay, but what he's doing. But I think that, you know, just being able to like talk about that sometimes, like how he clobbered me or how I actually stood up a fight, because that's another discussion that a lot of people bring up, is that how I actually was able to kind of keep up a fight. I think that definitely was something that I like talking to him about, as well as wanting a rematch, just to see how that would really go.
Did you know anything about like his career goal? Like it was for a time he had like a career goal of becoming a professional fighter.
I did know about that, and I knew that, like I said, he was really committed to it, and I knew that he was very passionate about that, but I didn't really know much about what he wanted to do involving that. But as you know, I have like my private story, and I have each person is an emoji, and I put as the punching bag one. So, or is it the punching bag? I think so. Yeah.
Sick.
I know, it's fun. It's a cool one.
We're at like the point of the final question.
Okay.
Do you want to say anything before that, or talk about anything else you don't feel like we've talked about?
I think that another area that I gotten a lot closer was through Minecraft, because that was a big time in quarantine, just hopping on Discord, and we had a server. I think Caleb was the one that hosted that, and everyone knew that I was a Minecraft veteran, so they'd target me, and Julian were two guys that really liked to team up on me. But that was always a lot of fun, like having to deal with the conflict and stuff. And at one point we actually teamed up, but I was like secretly stealing their stuff, and I made a trap too that I fell into. I had a chest down a hallway that said diamonds. Riley also fell for this, but when you opened it, it moved pistons, and then you just fell into this massive hole. So it's just a funny thing like that. But Minecraft was a big area that he and I would also get a little bit closer with as well.
It's nice. No one's brought that up yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm literally mentally like picturing in the game like him going up to that chest and like.
Yeah, exactly. And we had this fun. I have a couple screenshots, I think, from that are on my Switch, but we had a zombie. We had a zombie in a hole, a 2x2 hole, and his name was. It was the funniest thing. I was like, "There's no way this is a real zombie name," and it was just, I don't know. It's just that's always something that always reminds me of him.
You ready for the final question?
Yeah.
All right. If you could say one thing to him right now, what would it be?
think that I would want to talk to him about getting an opportunity to get closer, because I knew him pretty well, but I know I could have known him a lot better, and I feel like if I had a stronger relationship with him, then we would have been able to discuss things about, you know, how he feels about stuff and how I feel and stuff. I feel like that definitely could have helped with the way things ended up going. But I think that I definitely would have liked to have had a better opportunity to know him better.
You good to wrap things up, or is there
Yeah.
anything else?
That's
All right.
it.
Thanks.